With just under 3 weeks until SummerSlam on August 21, WWE still has a lot of work to do when it comes to filling up the card. After Bobby Lashley refused his challenge for a Universal Championship match at the pay-per-view, Goldberg made an appearance tonight in an effort to change the Almighty's mind. Last week, Charlotte Flair confronted Nikki ASH about how she won the Raw Women's Championship. Tonight, the two met in a no-holds-barred contest. We also saw Riddle take on Omos in what might be his biggest challenge to date, both literally and figuratively. Let's take a look at everything that happened on tonight's edition of Monday Night Raw. For this is Ridiculously Raw. Welcome, everybody, to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and StreamYard.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined, as always, by good old MF Michael Fletcher and the phenom Michael Bullock. And I am pleased to announce for the first time in about 3 months, she's back, and she's better than ever. You know her, you love her. The First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, the Twisted Angel, Didi Woodson, back with us here tonight. So welcome back, Didi. We missed you. We're glad to have you back tonight. We can't wait to get your insight on only the relevant stuff, of course. So, yeah, I say that because this was not the best show, honestly. But, you know, there was some newsworthy things that happened. Not too many, but there were. So with that being said, let's dive right on in. And we started it off with an in-ring segment. Bill Goldberg. Well, it was Bobby Lashley, an MVP. They ran their mouth, and then Goldberg came out and well, it's official. We were hoping it wasn't going to be official, but unfortunately, it's going to be official, my friends. Unfortunately, it will be Bobby Lashley defending the WWE Championship against Bill Goldberg, and this was a relatively tame segment, but it was also exactly what it needed to be. Bobby Lashley, at that moment, hadn't officially accepted his challenge, so WWE stretched it out. It was smart to have Goldberg go after MVP instead of Lashley. The best way to build this feud is not to have them fight before the pay-per-view, so when they finally make contact for the first time, it means something. Goldberg has never been a promo guy, but he held his own here. As usual, MVP was on top of his game. This segment was not anything overly special, but it was a decent way to kick things off in Chicago tonight. So, not much more to say. Good old MF Michael Fletcher. We were dreading it, but unfortunately, it's going to happen. Bobby Lashley, Bill Goldberg, WWE Championship in the SummerSlam.
Yeah, I mean, look, we knew it was going to happen. We knew sooner or later this was going to be the match. So it happened. So we're going to have to deal with it. Like I said, the only way and the best outcome of this is Bobby Lashley going over and successfully defending the WWE Championship. If he does that, then all that is worth it because that's another step in the right direction for Bobby Lashley that makes him truly an almighty champion because now you just took out one of the biggest names in wrestling. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, Goldberg is over the hill, this and that, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but the thing is that here's the thing. I think right now you want to keep Drew McIntyre away from the WWE Championship. That's the one thing that would have made it more sense. You know, you could have done. There's not that many guys on Monday Night Raw, other than Drew, that's probably a worthy contender for the WWE Championship. I'm sorry. As loaded and as deep as your roster is, Anthony, as far as championship contenders are, there's not that many guys on Monday Night Raw that I can think of off the top of my head. Unlike on SmackDown, where you got literally 5 guys right now that you can make an argument that could be fighting for the Universal Championship, when on Monday Night Raw, it's Drew McIntyre. Where's that second guy? There is none. So obviously, this was the way that they wanted it to do, was to do Bill Goldberg, even though we heard rumors that it should have been Brock Lesnar in this spot, but Lesnar's nowhere to be seen right now. We don't know if he's with WWE. There's rumors he might be heading to AEW now. So I don't know what's going on with Lesnar. So you got that problem. At the end of the day, it is what it is. I got nothing more to say. I mean, it was a solid segment. Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, it was a fine segment for what it was. I mean, yeah, it was nothing really that special to write home about. I mean, look, we all knew this was going to happen. I mean, everybody was dreading it, but like you said, it is what it is. I mean, we just got to deal with it. And the best thing they can do is to have Bobby Lashley go over and show why he is the almighty WWE champion. Now, I know one time, Fletch, you said that you hope that Bobby Lashley does the same thing to Goldberg like he did to Kofi Kingston at Money in the Bank. I don't think it's going to be that way. I still think Lashley's going to win, but I think Goldberg's going to put up a pretty good fight here. So we'll just have to wait and see. So there's really nothing more to say. And for the first time in 3 months, I'm gonna be saying this, Dee Woodson. I give it to you, and all I can say is, welcome back, and we miss you.
Yeah, I missed being here, but for medical reasons, it was good to take the extended break. So, this wasn't the best opening segment. I mean, it served its purpose. And yeah, it is very predictable, which of course, that's one thing you hear with WWE a lot is they are predictable. And of course, we all knew that, it was going to be Goldberg coming out, and we knew it was, it's going to lead to a match. Yeah, Fletch had some good points there. There's not a whole lot of top contenders at the moment, off. And, with them releasing all this talent, there's no telling what the situation is going to be as far as where their top contenders are going to be for the title as we move ahead. And yeah, I'm still hearing the rumors that Brock Lesnar's going to come back. I've heard rumors for both Raw and SmackDown, so I don't know. We'll just kind of have to wait and see and play it by ear on that. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It was an okay segment, and it was a fair way to start Raw. So what's yours, Florio?
All right, great to have you back, Dee. And I did my research, and it's the first time that the four of us have done a show together since the May 14th edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk, which was the go-home show for WrestleMania Backlash. And the first time that we've had Dee on Raw since May 3rd. So it's been a long time coming, but it's great to have you back, Dee. And great insight as always. And let's continue on here. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of cutouts on this show here this evening. But... And I say, but if any of you guys, if MF or Bullock or Dee, if there's anything that you want to, if you want to jump in on any of them, like if you want to, say anything or, if there's something that you want to address about a certain cutout, feel free. Or if not, then we'll just, do what we always do. But anyways, we had Drew McIntyre in a 2-on-1 handicap match against Veer and Shanky. Drew McIntyre wins the match via disqualification, 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Jinder Mahal gets involved with a steel chair. And, this was a dud, or an NA, whatever you want to call it. WWE has the unique ability to devote an entire segment to a feud without advancing it in a significant way, and this was one of those times. McIntyre won by DQ. Veer and Shanky looked weak by needing Mahal's help, and Mahal looked like a damn coward. Nobody gained anything from this. The match itself was average at best until the finish, but at least McIntyre got a decent reaction from the Chicago crowd, the IWC capital of the world, the All-State Arena in Chicago, formerly the Rosemont Horizon this evening. So that's all there is to say on that. We can address this. I believe this is, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is the first time ever meeting between these two. Rhea Ripley, one-on-one with Nia Jax. Rhea Ripley wins the match, 7 minutes and 35 seconds. MF, did you see the gash on Nia Jax? Oh my goodness, that was not PG at all.
That was a bad cut. That was, oh boy. Yeah, it is what it is. Solid match. Rhea looks strong. Big win for her, and that's the key at this point. You want to get momentum going into SummerSlam. That was a good win. That's a big victory. Good job for Rhea. I really got nothing more to add. So yeah, Rhea wins. I'll give this about 2.5 to 3. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll give it 2.5 to 3 as well. This was a good match here. I mean, obviously, nice win for Rhea. You want to give her some momentum going into that triple threat match for the Raw Women's title at SummerSlam. But yeah, I mean that gash on Nia Jax, whew, that was pretty bad. I mean, you could just see that it looked like a crimson mask all over that side of her eye. So I don't know if it was from one of the headbutts that she gave, but yeah, that looked pretty bad. So nothing more to say. Dee Woodson, it is yours.
Yeah, I can pretty much agree with the rating. Yeah, it was good to see that Rhea's getting some momentum going into as relating into SummerSlam, and yeah, that was a giant gash she had. Yeah, it was pretty bad. So yeah, I hope for Nia's sake, it's not super bad, but we'll see what happens. But I'm sure everybody's going to end up being fine, and we're going to end up finding out what's going to happen next between Shayna and Nia, since we had a little altercation after the match between the two of them. So not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah, 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star for me. While they have faced each other in a few tag matches, this is the first time Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax have faced off in singles competition. Getting fresh matches like this is going to be important over the next few months as WWE continues to visit various cities for the first time in over a year. The crowds won't stay hot if they keep getting rematches week after week. Ripley is the perfect kind of opponent for Jax because she has the power needed to keep the fight competitive while still allowing Jax to look like a dangerous competitor. This was one of the better matches Jax has had in quite some time, and Ripley is the main reason why it stood out. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax might be headed for a breakup, which is probably for the best. That team has most certainly run its course. But big win for Rhea Ripley. And a nice little riptide at the end. That was a nice spot there. So a big win for Rhea. She definitely needs the momentum going into the big match in the SummerSlam against Nikki ASH and Charlotte Flair for the Raw Women's Championship. And we'll address that later on. Trust you me on that. So we didn't catch what caused Jax's cut, but boy howdy, that was one hell of a gash. I'll tell you that. Bullock and I noticed that during our Raw chat this evening, and Bullock didn't notice it, but I noticed it first. And when I told him, he was like, "Oh yeah, okay." So I just talked about repetitiveness. Well, unfortunately, Monday Night Raw is notorious for repetitiveness, and we had a hell of a lot of it here tonight. And it started here. We had the hometown boy, Chicago's own Mustafa Ali, who got a nice little hometown rub. He teamed with Mansoor in a return match from last week against Mason T-Bar. And this time around, Mason T-Bar win the match 2 minutes and 40 seconds. This match was a little on the short side, but it was somewhat fun while it lasted. Mason T-Bar have developed good chemistry as a tag team, but Ali and Mansoor were the standouts. Having a tag team feud that is separate from the tag title storyline is necessary if WWE wants to rebuild the division, which it desperately needs. Ali getting such a great reaction in Chicago was not shocking, but it should be a sign to management that the crowd wants to see him get a bigger push. So I could probably maybe 1 to 1.5 for the effort. So yeah, we got a fan. We got a fan joining us here this evening. All right, Dee Dee, which one is that?
This is Callie.
Oh, Callie, yes. Absolutely.
I wonder what Callie thinks of Charlotte Flair right now.
She don't like her.
Not surprised.
No, she's part of the Lily Lucian.
Oh, the Lily Lucian, yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
So
We're big on the Lily Lucian over here.
I'm sure Callie would like to scratch the eyes of Eva Marie right now.
Yeah.
yeah, who wouldn't? But and speaking of, let's continue on. We had another women's match. We had a lot of women's matches on this show tonight. We had well, actually, there was an in-ring segment with Charlotte Flair and Nikki ASH. Charlotte Flair cuts another great heel promo, and then Nikki ASH showed up and attacked Charlotte, and that was a nice little foreshadowing for their no holds barred main event this evening. Then we had Doudrop squaring off against Tamina, and Tamina wins the match 3 minutes and 50 seconds. This was another so-so match. This was another 1.5 effort. The match started out promising. Both women are powerhouses and use their size to their advantage, but it started to fall apart toward the end. The sequence when Eva Marie tried to tell Doudrop when to hit her finish had a few timing issues and looked sloppy. Everything leading up to that point was fine. WWE did not address the future of the Women's Tag Team Championship, so it will be interesting to see if Tamina tries to defend them by herself or if she will be forced to vacate or find a new partner. Last week, Natalya suffered a very gruesome injury. We finally got to see what caused it. And boy howdy, when you saw Natty's leg, ooh yeah, not supposed to go that way, folks. Not supposed to go that way. So yeah, that was a gruesome sight to see. She had surgery. You saw the post on social media of her in the wheelchair with her husband Tyson Kidd, and we wish Natty the very best. We will keep her in prayer for a speedy recovery, and hopefully she'll be back very soon. And I just hope that this doesn't end up costing the women's tag team titles. Yes. Oh, all right. I don't know if Dee Dee wanted to say something or.
She just wanted to bring the other cat to the party. Tiger, right?
No, this is Cinnamon.
Oh, Cinnamon. Hello. I don't remember seeing Cinnamon before. I
don't remember either.
Yeah.
It's been a while. He was one of the kittens that we had a couple of years ago.
Ah.
And he looks a lot like his daddy. His middle name is after Morrison, so he's Cinnamon Morris.
Ah, very cool.
Cool.
He also looks like Morris the cat. So you can kind of go. You can kind of go both ways. Like I said, his dad's also an orange tabby, so he looks a lot like Lore.
Okay.
Very.
Welcome, Cinnamon, and enjoy the show. So, okay. And as I was trying to say, I just hope that Natty's injury does not end up costing Tamina in the long run because of how hard and how long that she had to work just to get to that point. So, and ironically, the last time Dee Dee was with us, it was on that night that Natty and Tamina won the women's tag team titles. So, we'll have to wait and see on that. But, anyways, all right, let's see. So that was about another 1 to 1.5 effort. Then we had a Miz TV segment. The Miz and John Morrison. Their guest was Damian Priest. And I mean, it was one of those segments where the fake laughter coming from one of the broadcast team members seemed to be louder than the live crowd's reaction. That was a meh segment. And speaking of John Morrison, like Dee just mentioned, he went up against Damian Priest. It was an impromptu match. It was because Damian Priest had said, hey, I just came out. I only wanted to be out here so I could so I could make a challenge to Sheamus for the United States Heavyweight Championship. But you guys are pissing me off. So I want a match with you guys right here and now. So, well, obviously Miz can't fight because he's still injured and in the wheelchair. So it was Priest and Morrison. Damian Priest wins the match, 4 minutes and 10 seconds. And then we got some craziness after this.
Okay, I got one thing.
Yes?
When in the heck is he ever going to get out of the freaking wheelchair?
Good question.
I mean, the injury is not that bad.
I don't understand either. I mean, how long has he been in that?
Months. It seems like it.
At least since, I think, after WrestleMania. I mean,
yeah, it's been a while.
It's been since WrestleMania that I can remember that he went in there, that he's been in that wheelchair, Anthony. And that's actually a very good point, Didi. I actually think he's gonna wait because what I'm thinking is that I think what they're gonna do is there's a possibility that they could. What we could see is that the Miz could turn on Morrison. Maybe the night of the draft, where maybe you might see Morrison and Miz get split up, and that might be the moment where Miz might turn on Morrison just to lay him out.
Yeah, because Priest made a lot of very good points. You know, when is Morrison going to wake up and realize that Miz is using him?
You know what? True, but Didi, you said something wrong here, and I need to correct you. The future United States Heavyweight Champion, Damian Priest. Just so you know.
Agreed.
Yeah. Oh, I expect him to be the next one.
I guess so.
I definitely expect that. So does Tiger here. He expects that too.
There's Tiger. All right.
Yes.
And I'm sure Tiger would like to get a piece of the Miz.
Yeah, he don't like to miss.
Yeah.
Although he sleeps through most of the wrestling. Callie's the one who actually watches most of it.
Okay. So with that being said, let's continue on here. Like I said, it was Damian Priest against John Morrison. Damian Priest wins the match in 4 minutes and 10 seconds, but there was some more. We had some more fireworks here as Sheamus came out, and Sheamus attacked Damian Priest, obviously after what Damian Priest did to him last week. And then, but wait, there's more. Ricochet shows up, and he gets him some, and it leads into yet another impromptu match. Tag team match, Damian Priest and Ricochet against Sheamus and John Morrison. Damian Priest and Ricochet win the match in roughly 3 minutes of TV time. And well, I don't know if you noticed it, but Bullock and I noticed this during our Raw chat. Damian Priest pinned John Morrison not once but twice in the span of a few minutes. So yeah. All right. Out of all the matches Priest and Morrison have had together, this was easily the most uneventful. It wasn't bad, but they have done much better in the past. Adding Ricochet and Sheamus to make it a tag match did not do much to improve the situation, and it just led to Morrison losing twice in one night. The Miz TV part of this segment was about as boring as it gets. Nothing new was said, and the crowd did not seem to care one bit. Even Morrison's moist puns could not save it. At least WWE gave fans an ample bathroom break with all that. So the first one would probably be about maybe 2 for that effort, and this one was probably about 1.5 to 2. So that's really all there is to say on that. So and then from there we had Omos squaring off against Riddle. Omos in 2 minutes and 35 seconds I got 2 words for you guys. Delicious squash. That's exactly what this was. This is how you book a giant. He looked as dominant as possible while exerting as little energy as he could. It was simple and effective. Riddle did a good job selling for him and making it look like he might be able to make a comeback before AJ Styles' personal Colossus ended the match once and for all. No one's going to call this the match of the year, but it was one of the most logical booking decisions WWE made all night. So, Big Omos in his very first singles match, or one of his first singles matches, and he got himself a delicious squash on Mr. Riddle there, 235. So probably about 1.5, maybe 2 on that one. So, all right. This next one, definitely, I believe. We definitely need to address this. NXT champion Karrion Kross versus Keith Lee, non-title match. Yes, this is a little bit of repetitiveness, but this is the rare repetitiveness of the good kind. In a match that Bullock and I called a must-win for Keith Lee. Guess what? Keith Lee got that must-win. Keith Lee wins the match in an even 11 minutes. Michael Bullock, like we said during our Raw chat, this was a must-win for Keith Lee, and boy, howdy did he deliver tonight.
Yeah, like you said, this was definitely a must-win for Keith Lee, and boy, howdy, he got it. And let's just say, a little retribution for Keith Lee after, of course, losing to not only from last week, but of course at that takeover where Keith Lee dropped the NXT Championship to Karrion Kross. So that's got to feel a little good to Keith Lee right now. He returned, and for him to lose 3 in a row would have looked pretty bad for him. So I'm going to give this about 3 stars for the effort. So nothing more to say. Dee Woodson, it is yours.
Yeah, I could go with about 3 stars. Since I wasn't here the last couple of weeks, when Karrion debuted against Jeff Hardy, I'm happy Jeff won, but I was not impressed with how they in my opinion, how they buried Karrion. That's not a type of a debut you want to have, is one where you lose in that kind of sense of the word. And then to turn around the following week and have him beat Keith Lee, who's returning. I don't know what WWE's thinking is on this, but then now they turn around and now they have Keith beating Kross. All right, they need to make up their mind. Which one of the 2 big guys here do you want to give the push to? Do you want to give it to Keith, or do you want to give it to your NXT champion that you've brought up that's still doing stuff on NXT? So they need to figure out what they're doing, because on NXT you have him as a big monster over there, and then you bring him up to Raw and he's almost, excuse my language, but he's almost like a pussy. They don't use him the way they use him over there on NXT, and it's disgusting. I don't like the way they're doing it. But yeah, I can give this about 3 stars. It was a good big man match between these 2 guys, but for me, WWE needs to figure out what they're going to do, who they're going to push, and reevaluate how they are doing these big debuts for the stars they're bringing up, because it's not looking good for these guys when their first night out. You bury them with one of your veterans pinning with his feet on the rope. So yeah, it's not good. So yeah, that's about all I'm going to say. So it's yours, for you.
Yeah, right there with you on that. But the match started a little slow, but it picked up steam as they built toward the conclusion. Seeing Karrion Kross lose another match on Raw is a bit disheartening, but nobody wanted to see Keith Lee lose again either. So it was a tough call. The way WWE has used Cross on Raw has been baffling. He has a lot less charisma without Scarlett, and he is losing more than he is winning. This is not how you book the champion of another brand. The crowd seemed to get into the match near the end, but it took longer than it should have. 3 stars, maybe 3.25 for the effort. Second best fight of the night for me. But yeah, they're making Karrion Kross definitely, like Bullock would say, looking like a little bit of a doofus here, and he will be defending the NXT Championship as part of Takeover 36 against Samoa Joe, and I believe on that night he will lose the NXT Championship, and Samoa Joe will be the new champion, and give Samoa Joe a great comeback story, after everything he's been through over the last couple of years or so, with all the injuries and concussions that he's had. So that would be a great story for Joe, and can't wait to see that unfold at TakeOver 36. But for right now, 3 stars, second best fight of the night. MF, this was a very tough booking decision, but they had to give it to Keith Lee, or else he would have looked like a doofus losing 3 in a row after he came back. So
yeah,
what are your thoughts?
It's a kind of a weird situation, but Keith Lee deserved the win on this one. He does get the victory here, which is great. But as far as answering D.D. Woodson's question about, this guy's the NXT champion and why are they doing this? It's pretty simple. The upper suit in the main roster doesn't give a crap about NXT. I'm just going to say it. You asked, I'm firing. They don't give a damn about NXT. NXT is a lot better because they built their stars up and the whole 9 yards. And at the top, when you talk about Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn and all them guys, they don't give a crap about NXT. That's why you see what happens.
They don't give a crap about any of their wrestlers. Look at all the guys they've released lately, especially the one we were talking about the other day.
But the reason why about all that is because they're trying to sell the company. They want to sell it. And that's the reason why that all these cuts are happening. It's not that they're trying to make the bottom line better for any investor that wants to buy WWE. That's
the rumor.
Yep, go ahead.
And the rumor I've heard is that some of the networks like Fox is very upset that they did let, Bray Wyatt go because he was one of their big money names. He was one of the big draws.
Exactly.
And so, they're not making anything good come out of this. I mean, it's looking really bad for WWE.
Yeah.
And, I've even heard people say that WWE's not wanting to build stars anymore. They're wanting, they don't want their stars to outshine the company. Well, like my youngest said, well, you can't have the company shine if you don't have the stars there to build it up with.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a 16-year-old has that knowledge, and she's not even, she's not that big of a fan. She doesn't really watch it or anything, but she knows that. And the old geezer here doesn't know crap other than how to ruin the company and, bring basically all 3 brands down.
But the thing is that I don't think it's really Vince's decisions about. Now, I know he's the chairman and the final say has to go with him.
Yep.
I think this is all Nick Khan.
Yeah.
He's the one that's trying to facilitate all these deals and everything else. I think Nick Khan is the one that's actually bringing down WWE. Just like how, and I'm going to openly admit this, how I believe Vince Russo destroyed WCW, Nick Khan is going to destroy the WWE. Not Vince. Nick Khan is the son of a bitch that's going to destroy the company.
But you can't leave Vince out of it because he is quoted as saying that he doesn't see AEW as competition, and that he wants to, or he was saying something about possibly giving them more of a pool to pull from. Well, what better pool did he give them than Bray Wyatt? I mean, they've already taken Tommy in, Malachi Black. They've already taken Andrade. They already took Miro. They've already taken all these guys, and here they've got rumored Daniel Bryan and CM Punk coming over there. Now you possibly have Bray Wyatt on the market now.
Yeah, Wyndham Rotundo. And now not only that, but you also got JoJo Offerman, because she asked to be let go, and she did. And Ric Flair asked to be let go because they weren't going to use them. Yep. So now, it's a cycle. But the thing is that as long as WWE knows what they're doing, and the thing is that at first I was thinking, all right, I think what would save WWE right now is if Vince steps aside, and I truly mean it, and Triple H takes over, let Trips merge NXT with the brand. Get rid of the brand extension. Get rid of the Raw roster, the SmackDown roster, and the NXT roster, and make the brands all together as one whole group. Watch out, because that's where the beauty of the company will shine.
Well, and that's what all four of us grew up with.
Yeah,
we all grew up with WWE sharing for each show the roster.
Yeah,
I mean, how many times did you see, Undertaker just on Raw and maybe Hulk Hogan just on SmackDown? It didn't happen.
No, never happened.
If you had a storyline on Raw, it continued onto SmackDown. That's the way it was done back then. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Everything needs to be reverted back a little ways. I mean, not all the way back to the Attitude Era or anything like that. I mean, don't rehash a lot of that stuff, but at least go back and fix your roster to where, these guys have more TV time. They have more time to build these matches and give us more vested interest in your storyline, in what you're wanting to present for us. Yeah. You say you're wrestling, you're not wrestling, but you're sports entertainment. Well, for you to be sports entertainment, you have to at least get that storyline built up for us to be invested in it. Because if you're not, then it's not worth anything. I mean, you're going to lose people, lose them fast. So, yeah, I'll get off my high horse so you can continue.
All right. I don't know how to follow that. That was great stuff there, guys. So, all right. Then we had a 24/7 championship match. Reggie defending against the man he took the title from, Akira Tozawa. Winner and still 24/7 champion, Reggie. He retains the title 2 minutes and 5 seconds. This was barely a real match, but the crowd actually seemed to be enjoying Reggie's antics, so it worked on an entertainment level. And it's kind of nice to see the 24/7 title being defended in the ring every week instead of random morons just chasing the champion around backstage. It's going to take some time, but WWE could make this belt mean something eventually. Knock on wood. Yeah, right. But anyways, we are most certainly going to get into this. The main event of the evening, championship contenders match under no holds barred rules. The Raw Women's Champion, Nikki ASH, squaring off against the Queen, Charlotte Flair. Winner of the match in 14 and a half minutes. Nikki ASH wins the match. Didi Woodson, only fitting we started with you, our women's wrestling expert. These ladies delivered the fight of the night, hands down.
Oh, yeah, they did. I mean, Nikki technically was kind of coming in as the underdog because, Charlotte, as they say, is the event. If she's not in it, then apparently, it's not worth anything. Well, Nikki proved tonight, that her cashing in the title was not a fluke, and that her winning all the matches that she's won up to this point is not a fluke. Yeah, she lost last week. No big deal. You win some, you lose some. She came out of it, still positive and everything. And I think the beatdown last week just fueled that fire even more because she came back tonight and she, gave Charlotte, everything she had and more. And she did not take it lying down. She didn't take it lightly. She came out there and she showed that, she knew what she's doing. So for me, I'm going to give this one the fight of the night honors because I thought these two, tore up the ring. They did great. I'm going to give it probably 4 stars, maybe teetering to 4.5. But I mean, this was great. I thought they did a great job, and especially with the fact that they brought in all these weapons and everything in here and in the match, and I mean it was great. They did a great job, and even Charlotte came out with some battle scars in the end. Her back was bleeding, so it's not like the Queen, as she's called, came out unscathed. She had she had her crown handed to her tonight. She got, in my opinion, I think she got shut up by the champion. So, yeah, congratulations to Nikki, and keep it up, girlfriend. You're doing great. Don't let people like Charlotte knock you back down. So, yeah, it's yours, Florio.
Oh yeah, most certainly. This was hands down the fight of the night. I agree with you on 4 stars, Didi. I think 4.5's a bit reaching it, if I'm being honest. Another 5 minutes or so, I definitely would have said yes, but I think 4 is the appropriate rating for this. Maybe at worst 3 3/4. So 3 3/4 to 4, definitely the fight of the night, no doubt about it. This was easily the best match of the night and one of the best performances we have seen from Nikki in quite some time. In fact, this might be her best bout since she and Asuka fought to a draw in a street fight in NXT. Charlotte played to the crowd perfectly, but still managed to be the heel she needed to be for this to work. Nikki did an excellent job being the valiant underdog. Even if the rest of the show wasn't mediocre, this still would have stood out. Seeing the crowd come alive as they kept hitting bigger spots helped make it feel like a bigger win for the champion. So I would probably say this was the second biggest win of Nikki. This definitely goes into the top 3 of Nikki ASH's biggest wins. The biggest win, obviously, was winning the title. Then number 2 would be winning Money in the Bank. And I would probably say this was the third biggest win of her career right here, all in the span of a few weeks. So, wow, what a great few weeks for Nikki ASH. Wins Money in the Bank. 24 hours later, catches in to win the title. And then a couple weeks later, beats Charlotte Flair in a very tough match to win, an no-holds-barred match. Those matches are not easy to win. Let me tell you, those are very tough matches to win. But Nikki Cross to win a match like that against an opponent like that, yeah, she should be commended. Absolutely, Didi. You're absolutely right, 100%. So 3 3/4 to a solid 4 stars. Hands down the fight of the night, no doubt about it. MF, somebody call the Chicago PD because these 2 beautiful dames stole the dang show tonight.
4 stars for me. Fight of the night, no doubt about it. Excellent match. Great outcome. And I'm happy Nikki won this. I was a little concerned that they were going to give Charlotte yet another victory, give her more momentum. But for Nikki to get this over and to win it the way she did, now I hope this is the moment where you put respect on Nikki ASH. That's the feeling and the sentiment I get from that win. And yeah, good for her. She deserves it, man. Great for her. 4 stars. Bullock, Bullock, welcome back. And it's yours.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. It was definitely the fight of the night. 4 stars. I mean, big win, big momentum for Nikki ASH here, going into that triple threat for the Raw Women's title, and yeah, I mean, she needed that victory. I mean, for her to lose again to Charlotte would be, I hate to say it, trifling unnecessary and would make Nikki ASH look like a total doofus. But with this victory, I think it definitely put some respect into her and that championship. So nothing else to say. Floria, what's yours?
Yeah. With that being said, let's get into our overall thoughts. I'll start it off here. Let's be realistic. Monday Night Raw simply does not have enough going to fill the 3 hours in a compelling manner. We've seen episodes that were far worse than this one, but there were plenty of really flat segments and matches. I mean, a hell of a lot of cutouts. But, we did have some standout moments. Obviously, the main event was the standout of this one. Something you definitely have to go out of your way to see if you're pressed for time. Definitely go out of your way to see that. Keith Lee and Karrion Kross, that's another one that you can definitely check out. I'll even recommend Nia Jax and Rhea Ripley, because even that was fairly decent. And those were easily the 3 best matches of the night. We did have some progression for SummerSlam, and unfortunately, the match that we didn't want, we're going to get anyway. And, but I could probably maybe give this about 6 out of 10 for this. I mean, there was nothing on here that was horribly bad, but overall it was, rather boring, if I'm being honest. The first half hour focused on Bill Goldberg and Jinder Mahal and was followed by a bunch of uninspiring stuff. Biggest problem with this show was that it was boring, which is often worse than being bad. There were some good parts, but this is not a show that would make me want to come back next week. One good idea was to keep things moving out there, as a long and boring match can be crippling to a show. And so if I had to put a number on this, I probably would go maybe 6 at the absolute best, and hope that when they return to Orlando next week, knock, for the first time since just before the Thunderdome, actually the arena the first home of the Thunderdome, the Amway Center in Orlando, and we're going to see that in an actual arena form and not with all the Thunderdome stuff. So so that's definitely something to keep an eye on that. So with that, 6 out of 10 for me. So MF, as we always say, Raw has some work to do, and I hope and pray, because let's not forget, next week's my birthday, folks. And I'm not a guy who asks for much of anything, but if there's one thing, I mean, there are a few things I want for my birthday this year, but one of the things that I want is a damn good quality Monday Night Raw, and I hope next week in Orlando they give that to me on my birthday, because I'm a Raw guy after all. Come on. Do it for my birthday. Come on, please. So 6 out of 10 for me. MF, your thoughts on this Chicago crowd? And come on, Chicago, you guys are usually better than this. What happened here tonight?
Yeah, I don't know. They it felt like they were sitting on their hands this time around. Normally but the thing is that, is it possible that WWE kind of drowned them out? Because I know there was a possible chant of CM Punk, but I think they drowned them out. So I don't know. I mean, maybe this was
Derek posted a video. Derek posted a short little video with CM Punk chants in Chicago tonight.
Yeah. So I think they were trying to do it, and I think they got drowned it out. So it made it look like there was nothing going on. So I mean, look, that's what they're gonna do. That's their move. That's what they're gonna say. Unless you want to get open fired, like how Stephanie McMahon actually, the one time where they started the CM Punk chant, and I remember she like a boss, torched the Chicago crowd, said, yeah, that's just as long as his fight with Mickey Gall in the UFC. Sure. Ooh, yeah. Don't piss off the $1 billion princess. That's all I'll say.
And don't forget when I think it was at Payback when she told Daniel and Nikki saying, "Why don't you just quit, just like CM Punk did?"
Oh yeah, and that really got over too. So 6 out of 10. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I don't know. It was kind of a weird night in Chicago, but yeah, it's all good. So nothing more to say. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, 6 out of 10 for me as well. I mean, yeah, I mean, you had some good moments, but some of the other stuff were pretty flat. But yeah, we can only hope that next week's show will be better. So nothing else to say. Dee Whitson, it's yours.
Yeah, I was definitely about 6 out of 10. It had its high points, it had its low points, and like I said earlier in the night, predictable. You had a lot of predictable moments, but at the same time, you did have a little bit of newsworthiness come out of it. They did do a little bit to hype some of the SummerSlam matches, but still, you've got a 3-hour show and you're trying to cram as many matches in that as you can. So we're getting 2-3 minute matches, and that's not enough time to invest and to get people behind you or behind your talent for a big pay-per-view match. And that's one thing that I see Raw needs to work on the most out of any wrestling program. I mean, I've watched several during the time I was out, but that is the one thing that Raw has an issue with. I mean, even SmackDown, you only get like 3 or 4 matches, but they're longer. Where Raw, I mean, you're just, okay, we're going to do, maybe a 5-minute segment backstage, then a 2-minute match, then another 3-minute segment backstage, and then another 3-minute match, and then throw in this and throw in that. That don't work. You don't want to get too many irons in the fire, and that's their biggest problem. So yeah, I pray for Anthony's sake that it's going to be better, but I doubt it. I highly doubt it, but I pray for his sake it will be better next week. So that's it for me. So I will see you guys probably Friday. We'll take it one step at a time, get me back in regular. So see you on Friday.
Of course. All right. Great to have you back, Dee. We'll see you on Friday night for the Cerebral Smack Talk. And all right. So with that being said, let's get into my Tony's take here. And we started off with Impact Wrestling from last Thursday. It was leading off. We had the Good Brothers squaring off against Jay White and Chris Bay. Good Brothers win the match 2 3/4 of a star. Pretty good match, but lacked drama. Jay White shined while the Good Brothers were able to remain strong as Impact Tag Team Champs. Intergender matchup, Caleb with a K versus Taylor Wilde. Taylor Wilde wins the match. NA, fun little match, making Taylor Wilde look great in her return. 8-man tag team match, No Way, formerly No Way Jose from the WWE. He teamed with Falaba and Finjuice against Ace Austin, Madman Fulton, Mahabali Shera, and Rohit Raju. The Babyface team wins the match, 3 1/4 stars. Really fun match that reminded me of why crowds are so essential. Babyface team here was strong with everyone working the crowd effortlessly. Constant action with a hot crowd. And then we had an in-ring segment with the Super Elite, interrupted by Sami Callihan, and then Frankie Kazarian back in an Impact Wrestling ring. Talk about that Forbidden Door being open again. Then we had Violent by Design, Diener and Rhino against Rich Swann and Willie Mack. Willie Mack and Rich Swann win the match, 3-star match, quality tag match with Swann picking up a needed win. Then we had in the main event return match from Slammiversary, Moose versus Chris Sabin. Moose wins the match. Fight of the night, 3.5 stars. Great main event as these two have a great dynamic. Moose gets the win back, which was essential. Feud looks like it'll continue with Moose likely coming on away with the final say. 7.25 out of 10. Really good show with constant quality. Impact has a good group of stars that are featured each week, especially with the inclusion of outside talent. The show feels bigger with fans and genuine stars that know how to utilize that atmosphere properly. Good show here with notable moments and compelling storyline progression. Next up, we have 205 Live from this past Friday night. And as soon as this loads up, all right, here we go. Started it off with Grayson Waller against Iki Manjiro. And Iki Manjiro in 7 minutes and 34 seconds. Good stuff here as this was a wonderful sprint with little downtime and just nonstop action. Kudos to both men. And the only issue I had was the ending seemed to come out of nowhere and hit just as they were hitting another gear. 3.25 stars there. Asher Hale against Drake Maverick. And Drake Maverick in 7 minutes and 37 seconds. Kind of an upset here. But I guess not really, since Maverick is usually on NXT and involved with the Cameron Grimes LA Knight story. The match was solid as Maverick is wonderful at fighting from underneath, and the story with each man injuring their shoulder was a nice touch. Much like the earlier bout, the ending came out of nowhere just as the match was hitting a different gear. 2.5 there. 7.5 out of 10 overall. Good show again as the show is getting back into a groove with the new guys in the division. The opener was one of the best matches we've had in a while. Solid main event. What we come to expect from the Purple brand. So 7.5 there. And I'm going to give you the results of the Impact Wrestling Homecoming special. I'm not going to do a formal review. We don't really have time for that. Even though I did see the show this past Saturday night on Impact Plus. It was about the Homecoming tournament. And it was the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo and her partner, Matthew Raywalt, better known to WWE fans as Aiden English. Yes, he's now known as Matthew Raywalt, the Drama King. He teamed with Deonna Purrazzo, first round match against Sean Hernandez and Alicia Edwards. Purrazzo and Raywalt win the match in 7.5 minutes. Next match in the tournament was Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green against Petey Williams and Jordan Grace. Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green in 10 minutes and 22 seconds. Tommy Dreamer and Rachel Ellering, they went up against Brian Myers and the mystery partner. And the mystery partner turned out to be, and I am not kidding you when I say this, Missy Hyatt. Do we remember Missy Hyatt? Oh, yes. Blonde bombshell from 30 years ago in the old WCW. And I do mean blonde bombshell, let me tell you. She got old, friends. She got old real fast. And no surprise here, Tommy Dreamer and Rachel Ellering won the match, 5 minutes and 22 seconds. And then our final first round match, Decay, Crazy Steve and Rosemary went up against Falaba and Tasha Steelz. Decay wins the match, 9 minutes and 14 seconds. Small break in the tournament. We had a one-on-one match, a grudge match. Diener of Violent by Design against Willie Mack. Diener wins the match in 9 minutes and 42 seconds. Semi-final round of the Homecoming tournament, Matthew Raywalt and Deonna Purrazzo versus Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green. Matthew Raywalt and Deonna Purrazzo win the match, 9 minutes and 34 seconds. The other semifinal, Crazy Steve and Rosemary versus Tommy Dreamer and Rachel Ellering. Decay wins the match, 10 minutes and 59 seconds. Then we had the fight of the night for the Impact Wrestling X Division Championship. Josh Alexander defending against Black Taurus of Decay with Jessica Havoc in his corner. Winner of the match and still the champion, 16 minutes and 8 seconds. Josh Alexander at Black Taurus. Correction, that was the second best fight of the night. Then we had the finals of the Homecoming tournament. Matthew Raywalt and Deonna Purrazzo versus Decay. Winners of the match in 11 minutes and 15 seconds. And the Homecoming King and Queen of Impact Wrestling, Matthew Raywalt and the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo. It's another accolade for Deonna Purrazzo, but what a debut for the former Aiden English. Wins 3 matches in one night and becomes the Homecoming King of Impact Wrestling along with the virtuosa, who is the Homecoming Queen, another notch on her belt. That's why she's up there as far as my women of the year go. I mean, she's right up. She's very high on my list. No doubt about that. She's in my top 3 when it comes to female wrestler of the year. Main event, hardcore match, Eddie Edwards versus W. Morrissey. Eddie Edwards wins the match, 18 minutes and 34 seconds. That was the fight of the night. And And I gotta admit, it was a solid show. If I'm going to be honest with you, and I would probably give that somewhere between 7.5. I mean, some of the matches were but some of them were really good. You got to go out of your way to see the hardcore match, and you also got to go out of your way to see the X Division match, and even some of the tournament matches were fairly decent. So one of the better Impact Plus shows, I got to be honest with you. So so that's really all there is to say on that. And coming up this Thursday night on Impact Wrestling. I'm not sure what's on the card, but what I do know is that we're gonna have. I do know that they do have a. Okay, here we go. This out of the way here. All right. There's also we're gonna have we got a huge 6-man tag team match. Kenny Omega, the World Heavyweight Champion, teams up with the tag team champions, the Good Brothers, Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson, and they're gonna be squaring off against Sami Callihan, Eddie Edwards, and the returning to Impact, Frankie Kazarian. I don't know how long it's been since we've seen Frankie Kazarian in an Impact Wrestling ring, but he's going to be teaming up with Callihan and Edwards against the Super Elite in a 6-man tag match. And they've also announced that there's going to be a battle royale to determine the next challenger for Kenny Omega's World Heavyweight title. So I'll address all that next week on this show. So that's it. That will put the ball in this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. We'll be back with you on Wednesday night. MF will have it. Brace Fan 95, 10:30. Wednesday Night Mayhem, NXT, AEW Dynamite. We'll get into that. Thursday, big show, Strictly Sports. MF will start it off with his latest weekly recap of the Big Three basketball. And then after that, it's all about the NBA draft. Our team-by-team grades, you know how we do that. And then Friday, Cerebral Smack Talk. MF will have that. We'll review Friday Night SmackDown as we continue on the road to SummerSlam. And then join us 1 week from tonight on my birthday for a special birthday edition of Ridiculously Raw. Cannot wait for that. So that's it. So until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Mayhem, this is Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, the Phenom Michael Bullock, the returning Twisted Angel and First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Beauty Woodson, and as always and forever, the Yankee Messiah 401, Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw the Fortune Force style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Mayhem, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you, beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody, bye.